Good day to you again. Today is the excellent third edition of Jimbopiece Theatre. Today we talk about a man named Achilles Dameon. Here's his story. Achilles Dameon, I was born June 27th, 1970 in North Carolina. And I was raised in Fort Bragg's Army bases. My family was in the military bases. I went to school on base my whole life. My dad was in the Vietnam War when my brother was 10 at the time, and back then girls were not allowed to go to battle. So she wrote notes to the family of the soldiers that die in this very sad job, telling people that, and for the people that have to mail it to the family, is a very sad time. They see you coming, and they know what the letter, and they break down screaming, "No, it's not true." Well, I lost my dad in 1975 in the Vietnam War. And his way back home, they shot down his chopper. I was 5 at the time. I didn't know what was going on. All I seen was my mother on the floor crying. But I walked up to her, and I said, "Everything will be okay. I still love you, Mommy." Well, now I am growing up now, still living on the bases. Now my brother and I are the only two left. I have one more brother, but he is too little for this shit. Now it is 90s, and the Bush is our leader. And we are going to war again, and this time I am going to Desert Storm, and I am 21-1 now for its mead. It's all training to know my rifle, and how it fires, and that it part and back together. I've been waiting for the day to go, and now I am going. I was there for 2 years and came back in one piece. But I was nightmares. Every night, about 1 day watches in my scope, a group of all soldiers. And the one girl, they started to crawl on the bear wire and got tripped in the bear wire. And I was like, shit, what am I going to do? I see 6 Iraq soldiers coming their way, so I grabbed my cross from under my shirt and I kissed it and I said, "Our Father who art in heaven." And I start to shot one by one. And I watch them kissed it and run that cover behind the rock, and I but watch everyone pack their heads out. And I sniper them one by one. And then I looked at my friends that are tripped in the bear wire, and all I see was them grabbing their months and chalking on something in the air. Then they start moving. Then in 1993, I got a call from Sergeant Storm to go down to Mogadishu with a group of Rangers to be their eyes. Well, I got to our base of Mogadishu, where I didn't take to nobody. I went to my room and I started to unpack my shit. The door opened up and it's Sergeant Storm throws me something, my mission. And I went out the next day with a bunch of guys that have never been in a battle. We went out on a recon mission, watching the tango for 2 days. But the 2 guys, every day until October 1993, the war settled and we tried to exact some people. And their people run up after us, and we landed, and 3 hours later Black Hawk was shot down, and we send out exact until to get them out of there. And 4 hour, one more black down. And me and 2 guys in my unit told them to put us down. And we were exact the people in the Black Hawk. So we go to some people out of there. Me and one Sergeant Troy were defending the Hawk. Why? Sergeant Patterson, get the one guy out of there I was shooting in the head. And I looked for Sergeant Thomas. and he was dying. So I ran to the pilot, and I put him on my shoulder, and I ran and I pulled out my handgun, my trusty .45. I ran and I got some cover and lay low for 2-3 hours, but that did not happen. About 20 minutes later, 2 people walked in the building, were me, and the pilot was hiding, for backup to show up, and I had my .45 out, and I wait for them to open the door, so they open the door, and I shoot them in the head, and 1 hour later, I had only 2 rounds left in my gun. And a group of skinny came in, and I was like, fuck, we are going to die. And I put on my gun on the ground, and I lay down, and all I heard was shots fired. And they turned and started to shooting outside the building, and I grabbed my gun, back up, and I shot 2 of them in the back in the head, and there was 2 left. And the end, with all the fire, they didn't hear my gun go off. And I started to crawl behind them, and I grabbed my knife, and I go by them, and they dropped, and I grabbed their AK-47. Then I radio in, and they told me they're a unit by me. They radio it in, and I got radio back. So goes the story of the brave soldier. Tune in next time when we feature more of this delicious monstrosity, Jimbopiece Theatre. Good day to all of you, and to all of you, fine, colorful drinking. Roll. Oh, that tastes so blue. Oh. Tastes better than the story.